Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Roblox video. Today we're going to be comparing Ultimate Driving and Driving Empire. So some of you might have seen that in the top 10 Roblox car games 2021 video, Ultimate Driving was on top and Driving Empire was in third place. But I want to see if that has maybe changed in the last while, because Driving Empire has updated a lot and changed a lot since then. So I think this would be a really interesting comparison, as Driving Empire is really innovating nowadays. And one thing I have to say, the results are like shocking. You have to watch the video. Anyway, yeah, if you enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and actually no, don't do any of that. Please just join my Discord. I'm working on it, trying to make it better. I mean, like, I'm adding like one channel per month, but we're getting somewhere with it. In Ultimate Driving, there's a pretty cool loading screen where it shows you a bunch of images and then it sends you to the big main screen. Here you have all the jobs on the left, all the locations at the bottom, the play button here which just sends you to a random location. You got all the like news up here, pretty cool. You got the logo here and the version and that as well. Really clean, really good, pretty well made, and there's some cool music in the background as well, and it's pretty cool that you can select whatever location you want. In Driving Empire, it's also quite simple. You can view the shop, you can view jobs, and you can play. It's pretty simple. This one's a draw, 1-to-1, 1 point each game. Not much competition here, to be honest. Now, in Ultimate Driving, there is a massive car selection. There is almost as much cars as Forza Horizon 5. There's like 500 cars in this game probably, which is kind of insane. From classical Bugattis to the goddamn Devil 16, crazy car choice. And the models are pretty good, but one downside has to be the fact that all there really is the interior, because there's not really any good interiors in the game. You can't open any of the doors. There isn't much engine sounds. Basically, you don't feel like you really own the car because you can't really do much with the car once you own it. And also the prices in this game for the cars are pretty expensive, so yeah, it's not the funnest thing. It doesn't feel too rewarding buying stuff in this game. In Driving Empire, buying cars is just insane. So you can essentially test drive, because vehicles can be sold for 100% in the first 10 minutes of ownership, and you can choose from a variety of paints here. You could get more money. You can start up the engine and actually listen to the engine sound in the dealer, which is insane. You can also explode the car, which opens all the openable things. You can view the interior and all. You can view the stats. There's a pretty small car choice, but the cars that are chosen are great. Some cars are absolutely insanely modeled, like so detailed. The prices are also quite realistic, so it's great. And as you can see in the background, the dealer is very well made. This one just has to go to Driving Empire, giving it 2-1. I mean, yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory, just the level of detail to all the cars. It really inspires you and motivates you to grind the game. There's proper cars stuck onto the wall here. I love the little detail, like all the rims and all the colors and stuff. In Ultimate Driving, the driving is decently realistic, with the cars feeling very heavy and very realistic. It feels like they really have a presence on the road. They're not really light. They take like a while to brake and a while to turn. The suspension's nice and bouncy. You have 2 boost options on each car, one costing Robux and one being normal. This obviously makes your car way faster. There's no interior view and a real lack of engine sounds. Almost each car in this game sounds like either a Mustang or a bus. There's no interiors, there's no door opening, there's no engine bay opening, no boot opening, so you can't really do much with the car except for drive and I guess admire the exterior. Now in Driving Empire, the driving's definitely way less realistic. A lot of the cars have backfire on them, so like they shoot flames out the exhausts, and also it's just like, I don't know, the cars are like really light feeling. They have changes with the chassis rework. It's way better after the chassis. There are some insane details that make the driving way funner. Like the fact you can open the doors. You could go to car shows, show off your engine and stuff. And there's also like great engine sounds for all the cars. There's lots of customizations you could put on your car. You can also drive in an interior view, which is absolutely insane. You could literally see the materials the interior is made from. Really cool. The driving has to go for Driving Empire by a slight bit, just because of the different things you could do, like the interior, the engines. That really adds a lot when you're driving. It makes it way more fun to drive. Despite the chassis being more unrealistic, it's just the fact there's engine sounds and interior views and all. Again, as I said earlier, this game has literally like 3 different engine sounds. Some cars have really good engine sounds that actually suit them, but the majority of cars just have copy and pastes. Now in Driving Empire, almost every car has its own unique engine sound and sounds like decently realistic enough. It's definitely a step up from Ultimate Driving in this aspect, because like it's just crazy. And there's startup noises, there's like idle noises. It's great. This one definitely has to go to Driving Empire. Once again, racking up a huge lead. It's just a variety of engine sounds, and yeah, it's just great having engine sounds in a game, and a lot of the cars sound close to real life, so that's great. It's now 4-1 with Driving Empire in the lead. Can UD catch back up? Let's see. Oh yeah, another feature is that the engine sounds actually change slightly with the modifications in a way. I'll show you what I mean later. On Driving Empire, the highway is pretty slow for getting money, but there are things you can do about it. You can get a game pass for a bit of extra cash, and also joining the group will add extra cash. I don't know if this is really a professional thing. It's a bit weird, like giving people extra money for driving, but to be fair, the driving doesn't really compare to the racing. The racing is kind of crazy. You could win up to like 40,000 per circuit race, which is only 2 laps. So you can gather up money very quickly. And another thing, you can actually sell your cars in this game. And they sell for only a fraction of the cost, like nearly the full cost actually, so it's not like a tiny percentage. And another cool detail is that modifications actually add selling value to your car. So grinding is very strategic in this game, very good. With driving, there's a paycheck system where you get a reward for every mile you've driven. It's pretty slow. Some people complain about it. It's not the worst thing, but it does take a while to rack up money. And to be honest, jobs don't really give you that much money for the effort you put into them. And on top of all this, all the cars are like 2 times the price of their real life counterparts. So it makes it even harder to buy actual cars. Like the Veneno Roadster is 9 million. The Bugatti Veyron is 4.5 million, and so on. Basically, the value of the cars is pretty high, and you don't really earn that much money, so it's definitely not a great grinding system. Not much ways to grind fast. So the point goes to Driving Empire. It's now 5 to Driving Empire, 1 to UD. UD really needs to catch up here. In Driving Empire, the drifting really isn't that great. The most you could do is a burnout. I doubt you could really drift in this game. And it's even hard to like activate a burnout, to be honest. You have to go on some slidey surface most of the time. It's kind of unrealistic. The chassis is a bit... It doesn't feel too real. So yeah, drifting isn't the greatest in this game, that's for sure. In Ultimate Driving, however, the drifting is actually quite decent. You can do some very realistic burnouts. As you can see here. So for this one, UD definitely gets a point, because Driving Empire really doesn't have that much in the drifting, but this game is quite insane when it comes to the drifting, especially since the chassis revamp. You can't do like proper drifts, but like you could pull some nice slides. In Ultimate Driving, the racing is pretty simple. There's a leaderboard system. I do have a weird suspicion some are hacking, but maybe they fixed that. All the races at the moment are just street races ever since they removed the Victory Road, which was like a racetrack. So now it's just all street races, and they all give you a bit of bounty, which is kind of cool. But the problem is you don't really earn much money for completing the races. In Driving Empire, the racing is very simple, and there's actually a way to teleport to the races, which is quite convenient. There's only 3 racetracks to choose from, sadly, and there's no street races yet. So yeah, the racing isn't that great here, but it does give lots of money. In Ultimate Driving, racing's kind of pushed off to the side, but here it's almost a go-to for money. The checkpoints are also very well made. Here I'll have to give it to both games just because they're going for different things. One game with street races, one game with racetracks. It is more practical in Driving Empire, but there's basically no choice of racetracks. So yeah, I'll have to give it a draw. It's now 6-3 with Driving Empire in the lead. In Ultimate Driving, there really isn't much customization. There's appearance and performance. In performance, there's literally just boost, which is basically as an advanced. I'm sure they're gonna add more in the future, but at the moment it's really lacking. And the advanced boost costs Robux, so most people can't even get it. For the appearance, you have the plate, which is pretty cool. Has a lot of states and provinces, which is also quite cool. You can color the window. I don't know why you'd need this. There's the main paint, the accent paint on some cars, and tertiary paint on other cars. The wheel part is quite advanced. I'll give them that. They have rim colors, rim designs, caliper colors, tires. So that's pretty cool. But for some reason, most cars come with drag radials. I don't know why. I think they should make just stock tires. Driving Empire has to take this one just because of the amount of customization. You could do the interiors, you could do police mode, license plate, you could chrome your car, you could put every tiny detail on it, you could put the RGB to the exact one you want. And on top of that, the performance section is even better than the appearance section. You could literally preview tank suspension. Like, look at that. There's engine upgrades. One interesting thing with the aspiration, let's say you have a turbo in it, you could hear like the turbo whine, but if you put a supercharger in, you could hear a supercharger whine. So it actually changes your car a bit, which I think is so cool. Definitely makes it feel like your own car that you've modded. There's also lots of boost options, a bit more than UD. There's also drivetrain changes. There's like brake efficiency, there's brake power. I don't know why there's so much 9s there, but it's really well made. Honestly, the GUI isn't that nice, and the actual garage isn't that nice looking, but just the amount of modifications, it takes it. 7-3, Driving Empire in the lead. Can UD catch up? In Driving Empire, the role-playing aspect is pretty good. There's a few jobs. I think there's a police job. Actually, no, I think that's it. But this game is insane for car shows because of the detail of the cars. You can open your boot and your doors and just flex on everyone else. But to be honest, it's definitely not the most realistic game. There's no proper houses. There's no like fuel system or anything. So there isn't too much role playing to be done, but the car show's definitely boosted in the ranks. On the Ultimate Driving side of things, the role playing aspect is literally insane. You can go camping, you can like hike mountains, you can become a policeman. There's functioning gas stations, functioning homes, many different jobs. There's even mailmen in this game, and even electric chargers. So much potential for role playing in here. The RV even has goddamn couches in it and a toilet which you can actually go onto. Okay, that's a bit worrying. Yeah, UD definitely takes the win here because there's so much to do, but Driving Empire is potentially catching up. Who knows? People often ask me if I use shaders in this game, and no, I don't. But look at the graphics. Just, I don't know what it is, but like, they're actually so realistic. You can see a little blur effect in the background. You can see lots of shadow and depth to everything. You can see the sun rays and sun glares. You can see reflections off the road. It's so insanely realistic. One thing that definitely helps the graphics is the fact there's terrain and grass and stuff. Definitely makes it feel way more realistic. Look at these trees. I mean, the clouds aren't the most realistic, but that's fine. Now, Driving Empire is very good with graphics, but I don't think it matches with UD, to be honest. The corners are a bit sharp on some faraway things. The terrain is really simple and Roblox looking. The map's very bright and arcadey, it's not too realistic. The game's graphics definitely shine in weather conditions. Rain is great in this game, but to be honest, when it's just normal, you could definitely tell it's Roblox. Okay, I have to give the rock textures a bit of credits, they look alright, but this one has to go to UD once again. So it's not 7-5 with Driving Empire in lead. You can see Ultimate Driving is catching up, and there's quite a lot more categories in this video. Driving Empire doesn't have a minimap, so it's kind of hard to tell what's around the map, which I guess is a good thing, because I guess it encourages people to explore. There are a few locations you could teleport to, which is quite handy. There are beautiful roads in this game that drive around coasts and mountains and stuff. Lots of elevation, really cool to see. To be honest, it's kind of simple, obviously lacking. There's no real terrain, so it's kind of lacking in that aspect. But the city is a highlight of the game. The buildings are just insane. It really gives me Accelerate 4 vibes. It is a bit arcadey and unrealistic, but it's alright. It definitely does the job. It's a huge map, I'll give it that. And it's all in one game, so you don't have to travel between games. Unlike any Ultimate Driving, where the map is kind of great. There's a mini map for looking everywhere around, and there's a lot of variety, a lot to choose from. This game literally spans across like 5 or even more different games. If you're not feeling the island vibe of Westover, you can go inland. You can go to like Newark, Bordenville, whatever. You could go up in the mountains, you could go to the cities. It's insane. There's also terrain which is great for off-roading on. There's many well-built bridges and highways and buildings. There's also a lot of cool hidden things if you just explore the map enough. Like there's go-kart. I don't even want to spoil them, but there's so much to find on the map. Lots of beautiful windy roads. The win here definitely goes to Ultimate Driving, and it's definitely catching up with only 7-6, only a 1-point lead to Driving Empire. In Ultimate Driving, there is great ambience. There's the bird chirping in the distance. There's like leaves falling. In public service, there's different ambience, like a roleplay ambience. You can hear like police sirens, ambulance sirens, people honking, people like driving, doing burnouts and stuff. You can just hear all that in the background, and it makes it a really cozy, peaceful feel. In Driving Empire, they could definitely work a bit on the ambience. It's very calm feeling, but it doesn't feel busy. It actually feels like you're in an empty city, especially when you're in a private server. I mean, I like the vibe, but it's not really on par with UD. Yeah, I have my volume up. There's literally just a cricket noise, not really much ambience. Now, in Driving Empire, the GUI is pretty colorful and in your face. There's just lots of different colorful buttons. It doesn't look too professional. It definitely looks very Robloxy, but I have to give them the settings. It's very good. It definitely looks Robloxy, which I guess is fine because this is Roblox after all. But it definitely doesn't look as professional. I really like the control GUI, but other than that, I don't like the GUI too much. To be honest, there's no real professionalism except for in the dealer. Like, a lot of it just looks really childish and kind of quickly put together, but the dealership has a really good one. In Ultimate Driving, the GUI is very well made. You got the leaderboard in the top right, you got your rank which you get for driving, you got your wanted level, you have all the little buttons you need up in the top, you have very clean GUI on the left which gives you lots of info about the game. You have a mini-map, which is a great bonus, and you can even set markers, which you can actually see. It's a huge mix of arcade and, like, professionalism. There's some that is, like, really up in your face, bright and colorful, and then there's just some that's hidden out the way. The dealership has definitely gotten a bit less professional over time, but I can see them having a new change in direction of the game, and the dealership GUI is just insane. It's really well made. I'm gonna say this one definitely has to go to Ultimate Driving, just because how much there actually is, how well made it is. In Driving Empire, the issue is it looks like something anyone could kind of make in Roblox Studio, but in Ultimate Driving, it looks like it's just been reworked for years and years. There's just so much to it. It's just so nice and refined, and it looks so like professional. Definitely makes the game just look better overall. With that, UD goes into the lead with 9-8, complete total turnaround of things. You thought Driving Empire was gonna win, didn't you? But Driving Empire is expanding at a really quick rate, and I feel UD hasn't been getting too much content. They've been mostly adding cars and expanding the jobs, but there's not too much happening, so Driving Empire is definitely on its way to becoming great. Who knows, maybe I need to redo this video if something changes in a while. UD's a great, well-made game, but Driving Empire is definitely improving a ton. Like, I'm liking Driving Empire a lot now. Anyway, if you enjoy that, subscribe, leave a like, join my Discord.